Hello everyone and welcome back to the Belgian Beer Brothers channel. Cedric here in Antwerp with a brand new brew review. And it is that time. Today we are having the first of 7 American beers that I got from Robert and John Gendron. Or Gendron? I forgot to ask, I'm sorry guys. But I got it from Robert and John when they visited Antwerp, for which I am still very, very grateful, of course. But it seemed fitting to start with lunch. Now, lunch is not named like that because us Belgians call a beer een glazen boterham or a glass sandwich. No, lunch actually is named after a finback whale. Now, hear me out. On a tiny island in the Gulf of Maine, there is a College of the Atlantic research facility called Allied Whale. And for almost 50 years, the professors, along with their students and some interns, have been researching marine mammals by carrying out necropsies, but rather and more often by identifying and following said mammals. One way of doing this is photographing all the whales and whatnot that they encounter and cataloging patterns and fin shapes and other identifying markers. And in doing so, they've created the world's largest photo library in this field. If you'd like to know more about this project, I've added a link down in the description where you can read their entire story, and if you wish to do so, you can also support their research by buying merch or even adopting a whale. Now, lunch itself is a particular finback whale that was first spotted by the team along the Maine coastline in 1982 and was easily identified by her fin, which seemed to have a bite taken out at some point. Now, the Maine Beer Company made a beautiful, simple logo out of this. It's just this little line over the name. The beer is a 7% ABV IPA brewed with American two-row barley, caramel 40L, red wheat, Munich 10L, Carapils malts, and hopped with Amarillo Centennial and Simcoe hops. It is said to display aromas of caramel, orange, papaya, grapefruit and underlying floral notes with, and this is where it gets interesting, even hints of onion and garlic. So again, curious here. Now I must admit that I completely fell in love with the design of these labels because this is what we would have called Scandinavian style 10-ish years ago. Because they're very calm, very light, very soothing, serene, some would say demure these days. And it just says what it should and nothing more. I really love this tiny detail on the bottle cap, this one strain of barley. And looking at these labels, yeah, it's just white with black text and some blue, or in other beers red or orange or green details. Now the label is, like I said, very light and it just says what it has to say, at least on the front. On the back there's a bit more text, but on the front, for example, it just says Maine Beer Company Lunch India Pale Ale, do what's right. That is one of their catchphrases. I'll probably go into that more tomorrow. It is from Freeport, Maine. 1 pint or 0.9 fluid ounces. That is new for me. And what I find very refreshing here is drink this beer fresh within 90 days of the stamped born on date. Now this beer seems to have been born on August 27th. That is August, September, October, November. It is just in the clear. So lucky us. And then we have a small story about Lunch the whale. We dedicate this beer to her persistence and determination. We support organizations that rescue, rehabilitate and release wildlife, as well as protect endangered animals and their habitats. Thank you for helping us do good through great beer. How could we ever argue with that? Now, back to John and Robert. These guys are two kind, really, because They actually know that I collect glasses, and they fixed me up with the correct glass. Of course, not for all the beers, that would be insane, and I think this is borderline insane already. But again, thank you so much, you guys. This is the best gift ever. But this isn't just a Maine beer company glass, this is an actual lunch glass. So, let's try it out. And I saw a nice little expansion there. I love it. Now, I do have some friends that are gonna be way jealous of this. One friend in particular, Chris, who we call the IPA snob here. Now, don't worry, it's all shits and giggles because he's one of my best friends here. But nonetheless, he's the IPA fan of our group, so he's gonna be jealous as fuck. Already a very nice color, slightly hazy, and I would call this a nice straw yellow, bordering on golden yellow. Nice effervescence, nice twirling in there. This actually reminds me of an engraved glass, and it does have a mini engraving. I think that is the shape of Maine, well, at least of their state. Yeah, am I being correct? I think so. But that is why all these bubbles are nicely centered, and they have like a mini vortex going on there. Also, nice thick creamy foam, and that you guys know I love that. It's a bit mixed density, but mainly tiny bubbles and creamy foam, a head of foam as it should be. So, over to the aroma. Interesting. They didn't lie. I do get some very exotic aroma in there, like the mango and the papaya, but also some like, what's it called? Is it pomelo or just grapefruit? Yeah, some nice yellow grapefruit. Maybe a bit of orange, a lot of zest as well. Quite hoppy. This kind of reminds me of Erlanger by Antwerp Brewing Company. Very interesting. Let's have a taste. Oh my, spot on. The taste also really reminds me of Erlanger, which is pretty cool, because that is one of my favorite IPAs. And I do believe that John really liked that one as well. But yeah, this is awesome. First thing that I notice is lovely, lovely mouthfeel. It's not too creamy, it's not too thin, it's not too watery. It is, like I said, spot on. Nice carbonation. Yeah, lovely feeling. And flavor-wise, the first thing that I notice is bitterness. It doesn't smell very bitter. You do get that bit of zest and that bit of grapefruit, but it actually tastes more bitter and dry than you would expect, which is right up my alley. And that fruitiness shines through like after about a second. But the fruit as well, a lot of grapefruit, a lot of citrus zest, a tiny bit of orange. Very hoppy. And quite boozy as well. It's 7%, but when I let it go around in the mouth, this really strikes me as an 8 or 9%er. So yeah, quite boozy. I really like this, but maybe that's my Belgian side, of course. And you also get that fruitiness, like mainly like a bit of mango and star fruit. And a bit later on, which is like that bit between tasting and the aftertaste, that is where those floral notes really release. And that is actually also where I get that hint of onion. Although I would rather say like a herbal component like chives instead of full-blown onion. But I think I understand now what they mean with that. Yeah, real nice. You Americans and your large bottles. Look at me having a hard time. Poor old me. But yeah, really, oh, lovely, 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 beautiful. Also, the aftertaste is very, very present. It's not annoying, but it's really not subtle. And it's like a soft bitterness, a very pleasant bitterness. And actually, like in the restaurant where I used to work, this would be an ideal aperitif. This would be an ideal pre-dinner drink. I would probably divide one of these bottles for 3 people. But yeah, it's slightly sweet and fruity. That's what people love. But it's also nicely carbonated, slightly acidic, and I don't mean flavor-wise, but because of the carbonation, and pretty bitter. So it has everything to get your stomach's juices flowing and to induce hunger, actually. So yeah, as an aperitif, awesome. I would immediately put this on my menu. So if this is just the opener, I am really, really curious for the other 6. Yeah, downright awesome. Now, I have been nothing but positive, so that should shine through in the verdict. And like I said, I'm not the hugest IPA fan, but I do recognize quality brews and yeah, lovely beers. This is balanced, this is lovely in flavor, in aroma, in color. This hits all the check marks for me. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go 4, maybe even 4+ for this one. So the bar is set pretty high. I don't know if it was a smart idea starting with this one, but I just went by the name, so yeah. I'm so curious for the rest now. But yeah, I will have to practice some patience. That all being said, yeah, again, thank you so much, guys, for watching, and Robert and John in particular for bringing me these beers. If you guys ever come back, we'll visit another brewery and we'll have some fun again. And you don't have to bring me a bag of beers every time. I'm not fishing for more. But no, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate this. I'm very impressed by this beer. I had heard so much about American IPAs and now I'm experiencing it. So yeah, this calls for a celebration or for more. Thank God they have big bottles. Now, like I said, I'm gonna score this like a 4.25, and I will see you guys again tomorrow. So until then, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up. If you have suggestions, questions, whatever, leave them down in the comments. And if you want to see more, if you want to see the entire series, I'll put them in a playlist. And yeah, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon. You'll get notified whenever I upload something, which should be every freaking day for the rest of the year at 7. So see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.